To slip or not to slip? That's the question, and it should have an easy answer, but does Koch Chemie Gummifix supply that answer? Find out right here. Hello and welcome back to the Golf Diaries. My name's Mark and today we are talking guff. No, that's not slang for saying we're going to be talking rubbish, well at least not more than we normally do, but no, it's very much about Koch Chemie Gummifix. Now, nobody likes dirty rubber floor mats in their cars. They're unsightly and they can end up smelling a bit funky and just they're a little bit embarrassing. So, but what's worse is a clean but slippery rubber floor mat for the simple reason they're just plain dangerous. Now, very often as car care enthusiasts, we'll go to great lengths to clean the rubber mats just to try and bring back that factory fresh look and to instill a little bit of cleanliness inside the car. There's nothing wrong with that at all. However, and I'm guilty of this, over the years, I have used all kinds of products on those mats to bring back that factory fresh finish, whether that's something like Car Pro PERL or Autolgym Vinyl and Rubber. They're just two, there are many others. The downsides are, certainly with Pearl, it can make the rubber a little bit on the slippery side. Now, with Car Pro PERL or the Autolgym Vinyl and Rubber, you do get a nice looking floor mat, no two ways about it. It does look factory fresh. However, and I'm speaking from personal experience here, they can be very slippery, and at best you slip getting into the car. At worst, you go to apply that brake pedal and your foot slips away from underneath you. It's just plain dangerous. In fact, the last time I used Car Pro PERL on my wife's Audi, she rang me on the way to work the next day and said, seriously, are you trying to kill me? My foot has completely slipped. So ladies of the world, hey, not just ladies, we don't judge here, we don't judge here. So people of the world who wear high heels, stilettos, obviously will have a serious problem. It's only a problem I have at weekends, but that's a whole other video. So having removed my hat, because I decided it was making me look like Gardener Smurf, we're back to just a slightly shiny head. So I'll just try not to dazzle you too much with the shiny head. But anyway, getting back to slippery floor mats. Now also, if you use some of these products on your boot liner, that can if you're a dog owner, that will have equally slightly comedic but slightly worrying results when your dog jumps in and then goes sliding straight into the back seat because they can't stop themselves. Yes, our poor husky has experienced this, and that was all down to Car Pro PERL. As good a product as it is, it's not for anything that needs a little bit of traction. So enter Koch Chemie Gummifix, or Guff for short. Now this claims to be a non-slip treatment for rubber car mats and those boot liners that I mentioned as well. It claims it gives a factory fresh finish, so it's not too shiny, just a nice OEM finish. But this is a new product to me. Slowly I'm making my way through the Koch range, and everything I've tried so far has pretty much impressed. So I'm interested to see how I get on with this one. So I'm going to overlay some shots now of me using this for the first time on the mats of my wife's Audi SQ5. And it was a learning experience. I like to do these first applications live with you, no practice, straight in, and just see how we get on. Because of course, when you're at home, you don't have loads and loads of practices before you try and apply it for the first time. So why should I? Warts and all, here we go with that first application. So how do you apply? First, well, you clean the mats. Now, this can be just with some soapy water. It can be with a dedicated rubber cleaner such as Autoglans Rebound. I'll stick a review to Autoglans Rebound down below. Or if you've got any kind of leftover shampoo from when you've washed the car, that works as well, as long as it doesn't have any additives, any wax additives or anything like that. You can use an all-purpose cleaner. There's lots of ways of doing it. So you give them, but the main thing is you give them a really good clean. So, this is the mat from the Audi SQ5 that I showed you a second ago, nice and dirty. As you can see, we like to make things a little bit difficult for ourselves by having lots of knobbles and what have you, because, yeah, why not? And it's clean, so it's been completely clean, but it is looking a little tired, a little worse for wear. So we'll try and rejuvenate it with the guff. So no further ado, I've put some of the guff into an IK sprayer. Other sprayers are available. And then we just start to fairly liberally spray it. And the only reason I'm putting this much on is because of all the ridges and everything else, because it needs to kind of infiltrate those ridges. I'm not too worried if it goes onto my garage floor, because the whole thing with this is that it's not slippery. Now normally if it's a nice kind of flat surface you can just leave it to dry, but obviously this isn't, so trying to spread it around a little bit. I'm probably not using the best tool for this. I'm just thinking whether I should grab a detailing brush. I'm going to grab a detailing brush. And I'm back. So who says we don't do these things on the fly, eh? So just give it a little bit more. I may have slightly over applied that, but I'd rather put for demonstration purposes, and then just use a detailing brush just to make sure it gets into all the nooks and crannies. Now obviously make sure that the mat is completely dry before you use this. There was a hairdryer involved. Yes, I do know how to use a hairdryer. It's been a while, but I do vaguely remember how to use a hairdryer. So I may just speed this up a little bit, save you listening to me waffling on about the good old days of having hair for too long. Now, lesson to self, use a better quality detailing brush. This has decided to completely shed itself, just make your job more complicated than it needs to. So with that, we'll just quickly wipe off all the bristles. See, that serves me right for talking about having no hair and hair dryers, because it's like I've now got a hairy car mat. So that's got rid of the worst, mainly of bristles from our kind of brush that's falling apart. And then what I'm going to do, because this mat is particularly bad, I don't think this has ever had a treatment on it in its life, to be perfectly honest, I'm going to spray a tiny bit more on it. Now again, I have probably over applied that, but all I'm going to do now is leave that to dry and then come back to it when it's dried off. Okay, so it's not completely dry yet. There's still a few kind of greasy sections, so it's still drying. Unfortunately, I've got to put this back in the car because the car is heading off first thing in the morning to be part exchanged for something new and shiny, which will be coming to the channel very shortly. But yeah, first impressions are, it takes quite a long time to dry, although I did put an awful lot of the product on, so that's probably more on me than the product. But yeah, I mean, I've left it for half an hour. I've been over it again with a cloth, and it's still, you know, taking time to dry. But hey, that's no biggie. That's not the end of the world. It's just a comment. But in terms of the finish, I mean, it looks certainly a lot fresher than it did. Bear in mind, this is a very well used mat, past its sell by date. I think if the car wasn't going tomorrow, this mat definitely would be. But on the whole, it's got quite a nice finish to it. It's a little uneven. If I could have another go at it, I think I probably would, if I'm being brutally honest. I mean, this is a first impression video for me. I probably need to go away and do some more testing on my actual daily driver that isn't going anywhere imminently. But yeah, I'm reasonably impressed. I'm not blown away, I'll be honest, but I'm reasonably impressed. Now, obviously I can't tell whether it's slip free yet because it's still a little bit damp. But I guess if I get a call in the morning from the wife as she's on her way to part exchange the car saying that I'm trying to kill her like I did when I put CarPro PERL on her mats, then I guess it hasn't worked. Yeah, watch this space. But first impressions, it's okay. It's actually done a good job on what was a very, very used mat in a very rushed application. It's okay. So, an interesting first experience of applying the Gummifix. I probably made a few errors there, I'll be the first to admit. Over applied for a start, no two ways about that. I didn't need to apply as much as I did. I think the application method, definitely going forward in future uses, it will be with a brush. It was just easier to use, certainly on textured mats like the ones from the SQ5. Yeah, definitely, as I said, definitely over applied because it took a long time to dry. I actually left the mats overnight to dry, and the result I will overlay now. So the results, I was pretty pleased. I mean, yes, the claims of being a factory fresh finish are definitely true. I mean, these are quite worn mats. They're old mats. They've had a lot of wear. In fact, they've been in the car for like 70,000 miles. That's 70,000 miles. So yeah, they've certainly served their purpose well. But they are looking a little bit worn. So given that, I think, you know, the Koch Chemie's brought it up really, really well. It was actually still a little bit damp the next day, so I definitely over applied it. So learn from my mistake there, you don't need to apply so much. I have since applied it sparingly, more sparingly, to the rubber mats in my Edition 40, and they dried really, really quickly and look great. So I learnt my lesson. So I'm a quick learner. I might be a bit slow at times, but when it comes to learning, I'm pretty quick. So you learn as you go in this job for sure. So yeah, now the good news is, did I get a call from my wife the next day saying, "Are you trying to kill me?" No, I didn't. No, I didn't actually. I was prepared for it. I thought, come on, give me some feedback. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I mean, married men of the world, you're gonna hear my plea here. It's like when you do something wrong, oh my goodness, the world knows about it. But the second you do something right, no, silence. You know, tumbleweeds. So silence, as far as I'm concerned, is good news because it means I've got a peaceful life, and also it means I've got a happy wife. So, hey. So no, absolutely no issues with slipping on the mats the following day. And on my mats in the Edition 40, likewise, no slippage issues. Even when the stilettos come out. No, I can't do this seriously. No, trust me, no stilettos are involved in driving my car. My wife is never going to drive my car. And joking aside, trust me, they wouldn't suit me. I haven't got the legs for stilettos, so no, it's not going to happen. So how would I summarise? Well, it's another great product from Koch Chemie. Idiot application aside, it's proved to be very good in subsequent uses, and as I said, no slip. So durability wise, I guess time will tell. The SQ5 actually got sold a week later, so I've got absolutely no idea where those mats are now or how they're being treated. But certainly on my Edition 40, I've only had that kind of 3 weeks at time of recording, so again, not really long enough to kind of test the product out for durability. But you know, I have to say, you know, whilst my mileage hasn't been high on the Edition 40, there's certainly no signs of wear, just a little bit of dust and things like that. But time will tell. Now, the main thing is, durability aside, I have no issue kind of putting this on a regular basis. It makes the mats look really good, and most of all, it's safe. There is absolutely no slippage going on whatsoever. So in that respect, it does its job very, very well. So yeah, I'm quite impressed. Good product from Koch Chemie. I expect nothing less. So anyway, that is enough from me. If I haven't put enough really disturbing mental images into your head in this video with talk of all that stuff, then I failed. I've got to try harder. So tune in again next time, and I'll see what I can do to really scare you next time. Bye for now.